Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Samantha Sexton, and for the next 5 minutes, we're going to explore the paths through which we, as advocates and stakeholders, can take to bring marginalized girls to the center of our policy work. But before we do that, I'm sure some of y'all are wondering, marginalized girls, what do I mean by that? So I'm going to take the second to go ahead and define that. Identify some of the policies that have been harming our girls and those results, and then we'll go ahead and dive into those action steps. So for this conversation, marginalized girls are those that are deemed unworthy or powerless by social context, and indirectly, the group of girls that are most difficult and hard to reach. Think of the girls that are abused by mom's countless boyfriends on any given night, the girls that are staying home to take care of their siblings instead of going to school. All of these girls are marginalized. And for the policies, well, it really depends upon the system. For instance, the juvenile justice system, we began marginalizing girls the second judges ruled to lock them up rather than give them the protective factors that they need. We now know that our girls are being victimized time and time again in detention centers. And the super predator scare, well, I think you, me, Hillary Clinton, and a few others understand what happened during the mid to 1990s. We began treating kids as if adults, punishing them for the same acts, saying, you're no longer a juvenile, have fun in the county jail. In our education system, time and time again, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, we're seeing girls being slammed to the ground. We're seeing 6-year-olds being arrested in kindergarten for throwing that temper tantrum. That's a true result of trauma. But also, those girls that are failing from time and time again, we are leaving our girls behind. And lastly, the workforce. I know as a woman, I'm paid significantly less. I have less access to maybe the child care, the paid leave, but our girls are not seeing us in the high positions. We only have 5% of our workforce, females that is, in the C-suite. So again, take a look at the devastating data on the screen. I don't want to go through it, but one thing I want to point at is really the 1,000 girls that are being arrested every single year for prostitution, something they can't even legally consent to. Think about that. So the data is pretty starking, but I invite you to join me in believing in a future where all girls have the voice in shaping their destiny in a nation that respects them, prioritizes their safety, and makes this a social issue. That dream, our dream, is something that I know we can accomplish if we take the next 6 steps. So to begin, we need to illuminate the entire issue. Aggressive solutions can only be crafted from the truth, the entire truth. Policymakers, they need to understand and have access to the data. If we don't have access to the data and understanding, we can't craft the solution. And that also goes back to the cyclical and generational traumas such as poverty that are also keeping our girls there. Second, create an opportunity for dialogue and let the girls be heard. We can advocate all day long for progressive policies, but if we're not including the girls in the conversation, we're just speaking at them, not with them. Teach them how to raise their voice, their authentic voice, and communicate in that fashion. Support the creation of local alliances, girl-serving organizations that can come together at one table to share best practices, pool resources, and really talk about the traumas that are happening in their community at the local, the neighborhood level. Many of these folks will say, the model doesn't work, Google it. There are many alliances. Also, Mama always said, do your homework. You'll want to find out whether or not your state funds gender-responsive, trauma-informed care programs, and if they don't, well, there's your homework assignment. You want to advocate for this language to be included in statute because, trust me, it works. PACE, the organization that I'm with, we were the driving force when Florida became the 3rd state in the nation to mandate a gender-responsive juvenile justice system, codified prevention in statute, and then also shut down the facilities that we knew had histories of sexual abuse. Evaluate the entire continuum of a system. You want to look at it also in parts, but then say, here are the parts, and then here's the interconnected pathway of experiences. By looking at those individual parts, and then as a girl flows through that continuum, you'll see where they're being left behind. Lastly, join the larger movement. At the national level, federal campaigns need grassroots support and those individual voices at the local level to amplify their message. There are many organizations that are doing great work, but if you don't know the messages, the stories of these marginalized girls, how can you ever go to your member, your delegation, and tell them, believe in our girls? So again, these are just some of the ways that you can get involved. These are ways that I know you can take to go ahead and amplify and bring marginalized girls to the center of your policy work. I challenge you to take these steps, but also work with those public-private partners to get the work done. We can't do this alone. We're not going to do it at the state, local, or federal level. just sitting and speaking to one another. So again, I challenge you to believe in girls. They're full of potential. The policies that we have currently are marginalizing them, but we need to give them a voice. So again, I know we can do this. We can do it together. Thank you very much.